8 p.m. On Friday, June 30th, we will start this meeting promptly. Welcome. Call the roll, please.
Bertland.
Yes.
Smaller.
Yes.
Walling. Yes. Schott.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Thank you. Need a motion to approve today's meeting agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion about today's agenda? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Schott.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Bertland.
Yes.
Smaller.
Yes.
Wall. Yes.
Before we go further, just a reminder, speak into your microphone and speak loudly, please. Okay, consent agenda, ours is as follows today. Minutes of the June 19th, 2023 regular city council meeting. Payments for contract services, Bolton and Mink. GIS web application development, $2,260. Claims registers and financials, $807,130.90. We have no licenses and permits today. Moving on, we need a motion to approve today's consent agenda items that we just went over.
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Any discussion about those items that we just went over? If not, call the roll, please.
Walling.
Yes.
Smaller.
Yes.
Bertland.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to city administrator's report.
All right. I don't know that I have a whole lot. I want to sincerely apologize to everybody for failing to bring coffee and donuts. I will try to do better next year at our end of year meeting. Okay.
Not okay.
So
Said that last year.
I spent all week telling Liz that I felt like there was something I was forgetting to get on the agenda. And promptly 5 minutes before I was headed over here, I looked down at my desk and saw exactly what I was forgetting to put on the agenda. So the state has what is called a thriving community designation. And with that designation, if we apply and receive the designation, we and partner developers can get extra points for workforce housing tax credits through the state, and then the federal low income housing tax credits. So if it's okay, we'll get that resolution put together, do an email vote. That application is due July 17th. So we will have it back on the agenda on the 17th, but we need it before probably 5 o'clock is the cutoff for the application. So we'll need that beforehand. So just wanted to get that out there and give everybody heads up that we'll put that together and get it out. So yeah, that's, I forgot donuts and that application. So
For the last 8 years.
that's the other duties as a sign, right? All right. Any questions for me? I guess,
How did the mural thing go? I had,
I think that I was out of town too. The mayor was
All
there.
right, what?
the mural.
I was gonna bring that up under mayor council comments.
Okay.
And then are you gonna bring up dispatch?
No, I'll let you do that.
Okay. So today is the last day for our dispatch center. So I know Chief Vaughn put out a very nice message thanking them, but I think myself and the rest of all of us here also want to put our sincere thanks to those dispatchers and also to the county for working with us and working through this transition. So Chief, is there anything you want to say on that, or we'll put you on the spot right as you walk in?
No, I really put out that message yesterday, just thanking all the dispatchers that have worked with us now and in the past, and everything that they've done for us. They've been a vital part of our community, and especially for our department and the fire department. I just can't thank them enough for everything they've done, the work they've done for us over the years. But we're transitioning through the process right now. we kind of started going live yesterday. All the 911 calls and everything got switched over. And they're handling all our traffic. Just get a few hiccups with just transferring information, but it's kind of on our part since this is kind of new for our officers and stuff like that. So that's majorly where we're seeing is just internally, we're just trying to get used to that new process. So, you guys have any questions, concerns? Like I said in my memo, citizens really shouldn't see much of a change, if any, other than, when they do call our police line, they're going to get a directory. They'll just select from that directory and then they'll get to a live person or be able to leave a message if they want to leave a message for the records department or one of the supervisors. So.
These dispatchers that find other employment.
Yeah, a couple of them have, a couple of them are still waiting on things to pan out. But one of them will be has accepted a job offer with the state. One of them has not as a dispatcher, but at a state position. One of them will be moving to Dallas County, be a dispatcher there, and the other two are still just waiting on final offers for them.
And probably a good time to mention it and get the word out or start getting the word out. I know Chris and Chief are going to be working on PSA and specific messages to some of our businesses, but one of the things that we remembered this week was that all of the fire alarm dialers and then security system dialers that might automatically dial into the regular police line, those do need to be switched over to the Dallas County dispatch line, which is 993
No.
4567.
That's right.
Okay.
993-4567.
So, but like I said, Chris and Chief are working on putting a PSA and notice together. Because that's something we had to do for all of our buildings. And then we were remembering that there's probably other security and fire systems out there. So we'll be getting that message out across the community too.
I was gonna say this morning on the Perry Community Facebook page, which can be a lot sometimes. Somebody had posted that they had a medical emergency or their father had a medical emergency and police and EMT were there within 3 minutes. So
Awesome.
that was cool to see.
Yeah, great. That's great to hear. Good to hear that. Good feedback.
I just want to thank everybody who was involved in making that transition, and even more so, everybody who's been involved with their dispatch for many years. It's been a good system, I think, for us, and many people worked hard at making it work so well. But I think the transition's in place and going to do well. We might have a wrinkle or two or something we need to address, but I'm sure it'll go well. And again, I think it's probably overall a good move for the city. I want to thank everybody.
Yeah, it's the paperwork and the computer work. We'll work on that.
Yeah.
The response time and everything will be the same.
It should be pretty seamless for those of us who need to use that system.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Do you produce reports for the media or?
No, yes.
No.
Anything else for Sven before we move on to mayor council comments? If not, we'll move on to mayor council comments. I did attend, Dean was there as well, the dedication of the Welcome to Perry mural. It was a nice dedication, wasn't a large crowd, but it was a good crowd. They were very interested and appreciative, I think, of what happened. Sean Palick, the artist, was there and he spoke well about Perry and told us a little bit about the mural and how things transpired to make it happen. It's a beautiful mural. I think all of you have probably seen it by now, but look closely if you haven't about everything that's really on that mural. It's a postcard, but that postcard tells a story. Each letter has some information about or something that depicts Perry any of what's going on currently or has gone on in the past. And another nice mural for Perry, and kind of as a spinoff from that, it's always nice to go to something like this and hear people say that, you know, that aren't in Perry every day, how progressive we are and how so far ahead we are from other communities in terms of things that are happening, like our solar, for example, and many other things. You know, I heard that yesterday, and I heard that at the presentation when we got this check a couple weeks ago from the people who were there. It's just nice to hear all the good things about Perry and how impressed people are that come to town and see what's happening, actually see it and learn a little bit about it. So that's always great to hear. I really appreciated the opportunity to be there yesterday. And again, it was a great dedication and Jenny did well in terms of providing some refreshments and being there. And she has such a great role in it, as did many others. And it was just a nice ceremony. Would you agree, Dean?
I would agree.
Beautiful mural.
Nice warm day. A lot of lights.
And people,
Through as we were
yeah,
having.
people appreciate, as was pointed out yesterday, the solar panels, so we can sit underneath there and do something like that and have a little shade. So they really do serve at least two purposes.
Nice little breeze through there, so that's nice too.
Yeah, you know, as was said yesterday, I think for the days, the months and the years ahead, many people are gonna stop by that mural and take their picture, just like they've done for a long time now on our big bike. You know, people like to have nice photo shots of places they visit, and I think that'll be another great one that is gonna be really popular. You know, this time of year, it seems like it's hard to drive by the big bike and if you have to glance over and not see somebody there taking a picture. Been a popular thing, and I think this will be equally as possible. So, it was a great event. I think that's all I have. Council comments?
4th of July parade coming up. A lot of activities.
Yep. Kind of the 4th of July weekend, even though 4th of July really isn't until Tuesday, but there'll be lots of people taking off on Monday and lots of things going on. Hopefully everybody.
Parade starts at 10.
What's that?
The 4th of July parade starts at 10.
Yep, unless there be some rain, a rain delay, but otherwise it'll be at 10. Looks like it's supposed to be a typical 4th of July, dry and hot. Anything else from council? If not, we'll move on to open forum. As usual, speakers will be asked to step up to the microphone and state their name and address for the record. Individuals will be given up to 3 minutes to address the council. Anybody here today for open forum to discuss anything on the agenda or anything else they want to share with council? Hearing none, we'll move forward to public hearings. Public hearing today on an application for a CDBG grant. The purpose of this public hearing is to obtain citizens' views and comments on this Community Development Block Grant, CDBG application to improve the city's downtown area. This project will be done in multiple phases as it is a large undertaking for the city of Perry. The city of Perry plans to apply for $600,000 in community development block grant funds and will use other resources to fund the remaining amount of the project. The project includes roadway reconstruction, improvements to downtown parking areas and alleys, water quality improvement, features traffic, signalization, signage, pedestrian sidewalks, and beautification efforts. This public hearing is now open at 9:14 a.m. Comments, discussion?
All right, I have very specific minutes that I get to read to be included in the application. So these minutes have to be with the application. So if anybody has any comments, otherwise I will read about 1.5 pages or 2.5 pages.
Read that and see if we have any questions related
Yeah.
to that.
So listen closely. Please take notes. There will be a quiz at the end.
Good.
Okay, so the city with Bolton Mink stated that the project had been identified as far back as the mid-2000s. While completed, the Iowa Great Places Vision Plan comprehensive plans, and other community plans. The city has completed many improvements throughout the community and now needs to complete infrastructure upgrades in the downtown area to attract businesses and visitors, including improvements to the fire suppression needs in the downtown. The proposed activities will be funded through Iowa SRF sponsored project funding, local city funds, federal community project funding, American Rescue Plan Act funds, a potential water quality initiative grant, and this anticipated CDBG grant. It was stated that the CDBG grant application was due July 1st, with grant applications being submitted on a quarterly basis, with awards being announced approximately 2 months after the submission. The amount requested is $600,000, and that is the maximum allowed based on the population of the city of Perry. These funds are estimated to benefit 4,385 total low to moderate income residents. This number was attained from the city and township LMI based on 2011 through 2015 American Community Survey. It was stated that no land acquisition will be required for this project, as it would be taking place in the downtown of Perry, including the parking lot near Wells Fargo and Warford Street from First to Third Street, as well as Second Street from Willis Avenue to Warford Street. It was stated that the city will work with each business as construction begins in front of their business to ensure that they have a safe entrance to their business during construction and that no persons will be displaced during the project. The project will include multiple phases of roadway reconstruction, improvements to downtown parking areas and alleyways, water quality improvement features, traffic signalization / signage, pedestrian sidewalks, and beautification efforts. During this hearing, community development and housing needs assessment was discussed as well. Community development and housing needs of LMI persons were listed as follows. Downtown infrastructure improvements. A recent assessment completed by Bolton Mink has identified a number of issues with the city's infrastructure in the downtown neighborhood. The current downtown area has seen road deterioration, flooding issues, building fires, and the effects of the derecho hitting the downtown area, causing damage to downtown buildings. Housing rehabilitation. Information from the Perry Housing Needs Assessment and visual searches have concluded that the community's housing stock is aging and a number of homes could use some form of rehabilitation. With a high percentage of LMI households in the community, the city feels that encouraging and insisting LMI households with improvements is needed. Housing down payment assistance. Securing a down payment is sometimes the largest hurdle to home ownership. This is especially difficult for LMI households. Information from the Perry Housing Needs Assessment and continued housing discussions with Region 12 Council of Governments and the Dallas County Housing Trust Fund have helped the city understand the importance of down payment assistance. Funds for LMI households. Obtaining funds to assist with securing down payments can make home ownership a reality for LMI households. Job creation and retention. Stable employment assists LMI households with their financial situation and creates stability within their everyday life and financially. Retaining jobs allows for employees to achieve pay increases, access to benefits, and a number of other non-financial benefits. Creating jobs will benefit the community through high-paying jobs, will also benefit the employees in similar ways. Job retention is also crucial for employees for long-term companies to stay open and expand. Housing development. Perry is like smaller rural Iowa cities. Housing is at a high demand and homes that are available sell rapidly. Additional housing development within the community may create housing for LMI households or may take homes available or make homes available in their affordable range. Each of these needs has been prioritized as follows. Downtown infrastructure improvements, high priority. Housing rehabilitation, high priority. Housing down payment assistance, medium priority. Job creation / retention, medium priority. Housing development, medium priority. Other community needs are listed as follows. Infrastructure improvements, ensuring access to quality water, adequate storm sewer, and good roads for all citizens is an extremely high priority for the city. These are basic services for the city to provide. Housing development. Additional housing will benefit the community as there is a high demand for housing within the city of Perry. These have been prioritized as follows. Infrastructure improvements, high priority, housing development, medium priority. The plan for potential activities to address the housing and community needs are as follows. Apply for CDBG funds for infrastructure improvements. Different avenues to fund infrastructure improvement projects have been identified and showed a CDBG grant and loan fund as opportunities which the community could access to pay for the project. Applying for assistance from CDBG and SRF loan will allow the city to complete the necessary improvements to the public infrastructure system while keeping rates reasonable for all residents of the community. Apply for CDBG funds for housing rehabilitation. Discussion with the local COG have determined that CDBG funds could be applied for by the community and then utilized by local residents to complete rehabilitation to their homes. Applying for these funds would allow LMI families within the community to have access to funds to complete the necessary upgrades to their homes. Continue to improve rental properties through city code enforcement and inspections. Apply for funds for down payment assistance. The city is exploring the possibility of applying for down payment assistance funds. These funds would allow the city to assist LMI households with purchasing a home. These funds would assist LMI households to secure the down payment, which is sometimes the largest hurdle to purchasing a home. Complete another Homes for Iowa house with the Dallas County Habitat for Humanity. Research other potential sites for this program. Promote available housing improvement programs through Rock the Block, Dallas County Housing Trust Fund, and New Opportunities. Job creation and retention. Dallas County's unemployment rate hangs around 2.9% for the entire county. The city of Perry feels that focusing on creating and retaining jobs within the community is important to the community's economic vitality. These activities have been prioritized as follows. Apply for funds for water system improvements, high priority. Apply for CDBG funds for housing rehabilitation, high priority. Apply for funds for down payment assistance, medium priority. Job creation and retention, medium priority. And that is how my son sleeps so well at night. Any questions or comments?
That pretty well spells it out.
Great job.
Sounds like a lot to accomplish if we can get there.
Yes.
And thank you to Maddie from Bolton and Mink for preparing that speech. Do you have anything to add, Maddie?
No, I think you did beautifully.
Gee, thanks.
Sounds good. Any other
All right.
discussion or questions related to this project application? Okay, if not, this public hearing is closed at 9:23 a.m. I keep wanting to say p.m. I'm not used to saying a.m. for a meeting. Okay, moving on to old business. Resolution readopting the updated community development housing needs assessment. Federal law requires that a community development and housing needs assessment be developed as part of the Community Development Block Grant (CDBG) application process. A community development and housing needs assessment was conducted and reported during the public hearing held on June 30, 2023. This resolution confirms the readoption of the Community Development and Housing Needs Assessment held during said hearing, making it valid for 1 year. Need a motion, please?
I make a motion, we pass a resolution readopting the updated community development and housing needs assessment.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Mahler,
Yes.
Walling,
Yes.
Kirkland.
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Next item, resolution authorizing the submission of a community development block grant, CDBG water/sewer to the Iowa Economic Development Authority This resolution would authorize the submission of a community development block grant, CDBG water/sewer for the downtown improvement phase one. That project that includes roadway reconstruction, improvements to downtown parking areas and alleys, water quality improvement features, traffic signalization/signage, pedestrian sidewalks, and beautification effort. The resolution would authorize the mayor to sign all documents relating to the grant application submission and acknowledges that it may be revised prior to submission according to grant specifications. Need a motion, please?
I make a motion to pass a resolution authorizing the submission of the community development block grant. Water sewer to the Iowa Economic Development Authority.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
We do have a wonderful poster of the project listed as phase one for a visual aid.
Look good. We need to take a look at them sometime. We haven't already done so. Any further discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Berglund,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Lawler.
Yes.
Walling.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Thank you. Next item, resolution authorizing an amendment to the first children's finance agreement. Per resolution 080122A, the city entered into an agreement with First Children's Finance to conduct a child care market analysis and strategic plan. Such work under the agreement was to continue through June 30th, 2023. Heidi Schuler, the Iowa Regional Director of First Children's Finance, has submitted a written request asking for an amendment to the original contract to extend it through February 29th, 2024. This resolution would approve such an amendment to the original agreement. Need a motion, please?
I make a motion to pass a resolution authorizing an amendment to the First Children's Finance Agreement.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
We just needed a little bit of extra time to get through the whole process. They've been doing a lot of the background research and just general demographics. I believe in August and September, we're going to start with more public outreach and things like that. So that'll ramp up later this summer, early fall.
Were we paying them to do this?
Yep, this is the grant that we received through IEDA to assist with this. And that was last fall, late summer, last fall, about a year ago. Pardon?
15,000.
Yep.
Did they
So-
fail just to complete it by now, or what's going on with that?
Actually, it was on my desk and it was another one of those things that priority landed on other things before this. So we were able to work with them and do a contract extension to complete the project. So
Is she working to identify all of the individual childcare
that will
providers
be,
as well?
that will be part of it. Yeah, is trying to connect to who is out there doing in-home daycare. So really it's trying to figure out how many childcare spots we have within the community, whether those are in centers or at in-home daycare providers. So and then kind of do that study of, you know, based on our jobs and age of population and things like that, how many additional spaces do we actually need and could we support? And then what are some strategies to develop additional spots? So
Are all of the child care development centers registered now? I know there's a lot of homes that will take
Yep.
1 or 2 kids. Do they have to register?
the in-home daycares do not have to register. I think it's probably under a certain threshold of how many kids. I
Numbers.
think there's one, maybe 2 in-homes that are registered. Otherwise,
Several.
Perry Child Development Center, the Lutheran Home, Acorns and Oaks, and then Presby is registered. So I think there's 1 or 2 additional that are registered. So, but Yep.
Any further discussion or questions related to this? If not, call the roll, please.
Oh. Walling,
Yes.
Mullen,
Yes.
Bergland,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Swire.
Yes.
Next item under old business, approval of pay application number 7 for the 2020 downtown street and utility improvements project. Pay application number 7 in the amount of $461,988.07, excuse me, to Crow River Construction for work completed on roadway paving and utilities completed. The pay application was signed by the engineer and is recommended for approval. Need a motion, please?
I make a motion to approve pay application number 7 for the 2020 downtown street and utility improvement project.
I'll second.
So,
Good progress.
yep, this project is just about complete. We are waiting on Mid-American and Lumen / CenturyLink to relocate some of their utilities. They have had those plans for probably over 2 years and are now surprised that they have issues. So liquidated damages do start tomorrow. So they will be responsible for those liquidated damages.
Good.
Okay, any further discussion or questions? If not, call the roll, please.
Klein,
Yes.
Walling,
Yes.
Bergland.
Yes.
Muller.
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to new business. First item under new business is resolution authorizing fiscal year 2023 operational transfers of funds. Per legislation passed in 2019, a resolution must be completed for all transfers between funds and must include a clear statement of reason or purpose for the transfer. The name of the fund from which the transfer is originating, the name of the fund into which the transfer is to be received, and the amount to be transferred. This resolution would approve the fiscal year 2023 fund transfers for operational purposes for the city of Perry. Need a motion, please?
I make a motion to pass a resolution authorizing fiscal year 2023 operational transfer of funds.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
As always.
I have a lot to discuss with this. There's a lot of transfers.
If not,
We have-
should we just go over all these, then just vote one time, or do we need to?
Well, there's 3 resolutions.
Yeah,
so.
so let's just, we need to vote on this one. Call the roll, please.
Oh, I think Susie wanted to talk about it. Mayor.
Okay,
Okay. So we're transferring $100,000 from TIF fund to the general fund for community and economic development purposes. Then from local option, we're transferring $664,585 to the local option maintenance fund. That's a 20% monthly transfer for building and grounds maintenance. We're transferring $112,398 to the HMA resurfacing fund. Because we transfer some money from road use and from local option, so we can do a project every 4 or 5 years. For the annual maintenance of the Carnegie Library, from local option sales tax, we're transferring $30,692. And then for Towncraft, $15,269. And then we're transferring $50,000 to the general fund for community and economic development projects. From road use tax, we're transferring $130,000 to the benefit fund for their annual benefits paid. And then $130,000 to the HMA resurfacing fund. Now, we started doing that several years ago when we got more road use tax and been able to use it for, big projects. We transfer a certain amount each year. And then from local option maintenance fund, we're transferring $36,600 for the annual benefits for the employees paid from the maintenance fund. And from sewer operations, we're transferring $50,000 to the general fund for the sewer fund's annual share of the administrative expenses, and then $25,000 to the benefit fund, or $25,000 to the benefit fund for the benefits expenses. And then from the general fund to the airport fuel fund, we had to transfer $75,000 to set up that airport fuel fund when the city started taking over the sales. We still, we have, a pretty good cushion in there, but I'm not comfortable quite yet transferring that back. Probably let it grow a little bit more before we repay the general fund. So those are all the operational transfers. I can talk about the debt service ones too, if you want to get those out of the way.
Might as well.
Okay. So for the debt service, there are several different loans that are, the general obligation loans, the sanitary sewer. We're transferring from TIF to the debt service, because let me go back a little bit. All debt service, all loan payments, except for sewer revenue bonds, have to be paid from the debt service fund. So that's why we might collect it in TIF or the general fund or local option, but that all has to be transferred over into debt service to make the payments. So we're transferred the TIF portion of a GO bond, we're transferring $132,551 from sewer operations to debt service, and that is not for a revenue bond, that is for the 2013 GO bond. That was some sewer projects and sewer collection projects and street projects. $164,875 from local option sales tax fund, $577,167. And then from the HMA project fund, which we've already we transferred from local option and road use into the operational, but we're transferring from that fund to the debt service fund, $249,400. And then from the sewer operations fund to the sewer sinking fund, and this is for payment for the revenue bond, $339,177. So those are all the debt service transfers for fiscal year 23 that are in the next resolution.
Okay, so that covers resolution A and B, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes.
We've already got a motion and seconded for A. There's no further discussion on that. I'll call the roll, please.
Walling,
Yes.
Muller,
Yes.
Berglund.
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Klein.
Yes,
Now I need a motion for resolution B that we just discussed as well. Motion, please.
I make a motion, we pass resolution authorizing fiscal year 2023 transfer funds for debt payments.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Susie just went over it for us. If not, call the roll, please.
Muller,
Yes.
Klein.
Yes,
Berglund.
Yes.
Walling.
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Okay, we'll move on to resolution C, resolution authorizing fiscal year 2023 emergency levy transfer. Cities at the 8.10 general tax fund levy limit are allowed to request a 27-cent emergency fund levy. Monies collected in the emergency fund may be transferred to the general fund for use by the city for the expenses that are unexpected or unbudgeted. During fiscal year 2023, increased property and casualty insurance premiums, startup costs for the newly hired police officers, and increased fuel costs and utility costs for multiple departments paid through the general fund were higher than the projected budgets. This resolution would approve a transfer from the emergency levy fund to the general fund in the amount of $47,707 to cover these unbudgeted expenses. Need a motion, please?
I make a motion, we pass resolution authorizing fiscal year 2023 emergency levy transfer.
I'll second.
This is probably the last year we will be able to do a transfer from the emergency levy to the general fund, because starting in fiscal year 24 with the property tax reform, the levy will now be called an adjusted city general fund levy, which it will be the 810 and the emergency levy, and then some other levies. The only one we would have would be the small levy that we do for the rec center for maintenance, which is only about like maybe 15,000, 18,000. So the next year that's when it's going to be the base year in fiscal year 24. And then after that, we'll only be able to increase a small amount.
Yeah, and like Susie said, this is one that they want to phase out. So essentially it'll be eliminated, but we can through a very convoluted and not simple or transparent process that we still don't have any sort of calculator for, that will be slowly brought down to 810 or below. So without these two levies, that would be probably around $70,000 that we would not be able to collect for unexpected expenditures, and then like Susie said, that 15,000-ish that goes to support the McCurry Center. So just be aware of this. This will probably lead to conversations about increased maybe memberships, fees for programs, fees for use of the rec center for other things. And that's just rec center. So be just prepared and ready for just other ways to either continue to cut expenses or increase some fees for services.
Right, cheery news. Any further discussion on?
Happy Friday.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's no other discussion. Call the roll, please.
Berglund,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Waller.
Yes.
Walling,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Moving on to resolution D, resolution for giving an outstanding interfund loan per resolution 030209C approved on March 2nd, 2009, authorized a temporary loan in the amount of $63,879 from the sewer operations fund to the general fund for purposes of paying project costs for the emergency energy efficient lighting update project at the McCurry Center. Due to budget constraints, the general fund has solely been used for operational costs, and therefore repayment to the sewer funds has not been completed. This resolution would forgive the original interfund loan repayment from the general fund to the sewer operations fund and authorize the finance officer to take actions necessary to make such transfer from the local option sales tax fund to the sewer operations fund in the amount of $63,879 to repay the loan for project costs. Need a motion, please?
I make a motion, we pass a resolution for giving an outstanding interfund loan.
I'll second.
This is just something that's been like hanging open for quite a while now. And the general fund, that's used for the operating costs. It's like we've never just had like some additional money to throw towards cleaning up that interfund loan. In 2009, it was before we've started getting like our own local option sales tax. That was 2010. So paying it back with local option sales tax just makes more sense than the general fund. And
And
then
then-
we'll clean that up.
I think this is one that I think every year is on the audit and maybe the next one as well, but so nice to get that cleaned up off the audit, but this is, in my opinion, just kind of one of those good examples of us even 14 years ago doing projects to try and lower our expenses. However, that cost that was hoping to be repaid from the general fund has just gotten eaten up with other expenses that go up that we have no control of and revenues that decline that we have no control of. So just a historic example of how we went down the road paved with good intentions, but it's good that we did this project. Otherwise, we would have been in a different pickle with the general fund. So just remember that as we're talking about all these other projects and energy efficiency type things. This is kind of why we do it, so that we can save ourselves down the road as well.
Okay. Any further discussion? If none, call the roll, please.
Walling,
Yes.
Waller.
Yes.
Berglund.
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Okay, next item. Resolution for giving economic development revolving fund loans due to bankruptcy. The City of Perry's Economic Development Revolving Loan Program provides for loans at a 3% interest rate to be used to help local businesses maintain and enhance their properties in Perry. Two recipients of such loans have since been granted a discharge of debts from the United States Bankruptcy Court. This resolution would authorize the following be forgiven due to the discharge of debts from the United States Bankruptcy Court. First, Black Market Pizza, Chapter 7 bankruptcy protection, loan June 1st, 2012, in the amount of $15,000, with a remaining balance of $12,996.42. And the next one is Big Time Cinema, Chapter 13 bankruptcy protection loan September 25, 2009, in the amount of $80,000 with remaining balance of $51,526.85. Since such loans originated, the city has taken further controls to ensure that loan guarantees have associated with them to avoid future liabilities such as these. Need a motion, please? We really don't have much choice.
I make a motion, we pass resolution forgiving economic development revolving fund loans due to bankruptcy.
I'll second that.
Just want to make clear, because this is what was shared with me anyway, that the Big Time Cinema is not the current owner of the theater.
It was
I want to make
the
that clear
previous
so nobody
owner.
has a misunderstanding. It is not the current owner.
Was that loan when it was bought by the other company, assumed?
Mm-mm. And that's, that leads into part of our whole new process where we actually have security on something when we do these loans. So now we do either a lien or a mortgage on the property so that we have something. Otherwise, it's basically just kind of a personal loan. Previously, it was just kind of a personal loan. So
Why
we've
did
cleaned.
we do that? That's crazy.
We weren't smart
Yep.
enough.
We have
That's
now,
just Crazy.
we have since learned.
Like loaning your brother, $1,000.
So. But we're good now.
My intent, I think was, to help small business, like I said here, to improve or enhance their business and then pay us back. And I think these two obviously didn't work out so well, but we've had a lot of them that people did pay them back.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely.
I would say this is 2 out of,
Probably 20, so 20 some.
so. It's had very good success, so.
Well, kudos to all those that have paid it back.
But
This is a bad deal for the two that didn't.
Yep.
it is.
Shame on them.
We learned our lesson, I guess, the hard way.
Yep.
So the revolving loan started with $200,000. And that was back in 2007 or 8, maybe. Right now, and then there's a low interest loan, 3% interest, and they can pick their terms, whether it be like 3 years up to 15 years, however big the loan is. Right now, we have available probably maybe 80 to 85,000 in there right now. But it does, when their repayments are made, then new loans can be made. And I think the last 2 loans were after the derecho for some roof repairs downtown.
Mhm.
So we have loans outstanding right now
Yes, we do.
that are not secured.
Some are not.
Okay.
Some are older loans.
Okay.
But everybody's making payments and
Okay, any further discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Mahler,
Yes.
Walling,
Yes.
Bergman.
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes,
Next item, resolution authorizing the sale of unused / outdated equipment. City of Perry has received instruction from the FAA that the formerly used mobile home located at the Perry Municipal Airport will need to be removed from the airport grounds in order to stay compliant with their rules and regulations. The property is no longer needed for municipal purposes, and the airport desires to dispose of the mobile home in a manner calculated to obtain the best sale price within the fair market value per FAA guidelines. This resolution would allow for the mobile home to be disposed of in a manner calculated to obtain the best possible sale price and for the finance officer to deposit the proceeds into the city of Perry's operating account to be used to offset the local match for various open grants for the Perry Municipal Airport. Need a motion, please?
Make a motion to pass resolution authorizing the sale of unused outdated equipment.
I'll second.
Discussion?
What's that?
Is it a nice?
It actually is pretty nice. I don't know what year it was put there, maybe 20 years ago,
No, it's not that old.
10?
One that's there, I think we purchased in '09, if I remember.
Oh, okay.
correctly.
There was,
It got
the other one was
replaced.
damaged by fire, so this
Yeah.
was a insurance replacement.
So,
From what I've seen in the vault, I think the original one was placed there like 76, 78, maybe. And then it's been replaced, it got replaced shortly after because of the storm damage, and then that one got replaced because of a fire, and then this is the one that we're on now.
It's pretty decent looking on them. And it hasn't been used hardly at all.
What were they originally used for?
somebody used to live in it to kind of be the after hours person, and then I think they did mowing and stuff for the airport manager at that time to offset rent. So it's just kind of always been that way. The Walter Aviation used it for additional office space for a period of time and kind of a classroom as they were doing their flight training. And then, you know, it's, I think with future growth, it just doesn't quite fit anymore. And then the FAA does not allow a residence on airport grounds. I don't know if anymore is the correct term, but just with like the hangar or the terminal grant that we have out and things like that, we just want to open up some room and make things a little bit more professional out there.
It'll give us a little room if we want to expand their office area too.
Yep.
In the future.
Okay, any further discussion or questions related to this sale? If not, call the roll, please.
Berkland.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Moller.
Yes.
Walling.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Letter G, resolution approving addition to the fire department roster. Fire Chief Grayson Hill is recommending approval of Mrs. Katie Beth Rice's application to the volunteer fire department as a first responder. Chief Hill stated that Mrs. Rice was interviewed by the officers of the department, and it is believed that she will make a great addition to the department with being a CNA and BLS certified, as well as with her knowledge from employment with Unity Health Point Service or Methodist West in labor and delivery. Chief stated that the department roster is nowhere near its capacity and is in need of first responders, therefore allowing for the addition of the new personnel. Need a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to pass a resolution approving addition to the fire department roster.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
What do you think? Or-
Well.
Yep.
Welcome.
Always, we thank people willing to serve in the fire departments. Not
I
an
think-
easy job, and it's not always easy to get recruits for, as indicated by the fact that we're well below our capable number that we can have.
I think previously the department did not tend to allow people to come on the roster as just a first responder. So that's something that Grayson has kind of changed the tune on, of allowing, you know, just first responders, because there's people that just want to do first responder and don't necessarily have an interest in running into burning buildings. So I think this might be the second one that we've done that just wants to be a first responder. The last one is a paramedic with Dallas County. So, and I know Katie Beth is a great nurse and will make a great addition to that part of the department. And her husband Jay is also a firefighter too. So they'll be able to participate together.
Sounds good.
You'll fight the fire and she'll take care of it when it comes
There,
up.
that's right. They can carpool.
They're a team. Any further discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Walling.
Yes.
Moller.
Yes.
Berkland.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Next item, letter H, resolution authorizing a short-term lease with Impact 7G Inc. Impact 7G Inc. has received a grant from the Iowa Energy Center to research monetizing carbon credits on reclaimed land, specifically large utility scale solar projects, by incorporating carbon capture verification and monetizing carbon credits as a value added product to these energy projects. The city of Perry per resolution 031521E showed support for such grant and project to take place at the Brownfield area. Drake University students and faculty will assist with the research to provide students real-life environmental learning opportunities as well. This resolution would authorize a short-term lease with Impact 7G for a term of 3 years from July 1, 2023 through July 1, 2026, for the lease of 6 acres and a lease amount of $9,000, with the city providing $1,000 reduction for their cost share in support of the Iowa Energy Center Competitive Grant Program. Need a motion, please?
I make a motion, we pass a resolution authorizing a short-term lease with Impact 7G Incorporated.
I'll second that.
Discussion?
So this is one that we did about 2 years ago to start this project off, and now I think they did do planting this spring to get their research plots in. And we're gonna have this be start tomorrow, so.
Is that who I see surveying out there?
I don't know if they're serving, that's probably Alliant surveying for their project. I think they were supposed to be out there surveying, so. That project should be kicking off here, I think. The first part of July, they'll be actually starting to put the piers in. So.
I apologize, then my dog's there.
The horse.
Any further discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Smaller,
Yes.
Kirkland,
Yes.
Polly,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Klein.
Yes,
Letter L is next, approval of a Historic Preservation Commission reappointment. Mr. Larry Moore requested on June 26, 2023, to be reappointed to the Historic Preservation Commission for a 3-year term, which will end January 1, 2026. Mr. Moore has been an active member of the board and wishes to continue serving on it. Need a motion, please?
I make a motion, we approve the Historic Preservation Commission reappointment. Mr. Larry Moore. Thank you for your service, Larry.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, thank you.
Again, we, as already indicated, we thank Mr. Larry Moore for his service and his interest in continuing with our Historic Preservation Commission. If there's no further discussion, call the roll, please.
Kirkland,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes,
Smaller,
Yes.
Wally,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Okay, next item, resolution creating and setting a wage for a swim lesson instructor. The Parks and Rec Department has determined in an effort to be competitive with regional swim instruction that it's necessary to create a swim lesson instructor part-time position to provide the community with swim lessons. Lifeguarding and instructing are 2 different job categories, and the swim lesson instructor would be paid a rate per swim session. This position should attract and retain staff while providing the community with an essential program. Need a motion, please?
I make a motion to pass a resolution creating and setting a wage for a swim lesson instructor.
I'll second.
Discussion? John or Becky, anything to say?
Just a good example, like Adel has private swim lessons and they got a 60-kid waiting list right now. But their group swim lessons are open, so everybody wants to have private swim lessons. We've got old lifeguards that are doing it right now, kind of on the side, and they're getting $20 to $30 per session. So I think this is a great way for us to finally get into that market. We're stable with our aquatics right now, so this will be a good way to retain staff and give them some incentive to stick with us and have a program that the community needs.
good program.
Sounds like a good plan.
Good.
Any further discussion or questions for John? Thank you, John. If not, call the roll, please.
Walling,
Yes.
Smaller,
Yes.
Kirkland,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes,
Letter K, resolution approving submission of a S4A grant application to the U.S. Department of Transportation. Staff wishes to pursue a to pursue grant opportunities to assist the city in creating a safety action plan, which will include an ADA transition plan within it. Bolton Mink assisted in locating a grant opportunity through the U.S. Department of Transportation Safe Streets and Roads for All, SS4A, for the planning and creation of such needed safety action plan. Such a grant would be for an estimated eligibility of an amount not to exceed $715,000 with a 20% local match not to exceed $143,000. It was advised by Bolton and Mink that anyone who applied last year for a planning grant received funds. After the safety action plan has been completed, the city will be able to pursue implementation funding in the following years. This resolution would approve the submission of the grant prior to July 10th, 2023 deadline, and authorize the mayor to sign on behalf of the city all required application documents. Need a motion, please?
I make a motion to pass a resolution approving submission of the S-54A grant application to the U.S. Department of Transportation.
I'll second.
So this planning grant kind of checks off a lot of our to-do items, not only with some of the planning and efforts for safe transportation within the community, but also kind of takes us through the next phase of our citywide scanning project. So a large portion of this would have FOTH Geospatial doing all of the extraction of the line work of that scan. So right now it's just made up of millions and millions of, probably billions of points. So they're going to go in and connect those points to actually develop the line work that can then be used for design on future projects. So that's a big part of it. But the safety action plan and then the ADA transition plan, the safety action plan is something we have to have for those future implementation grants. They require you to have this action plans grant prior to the implementation grant. So we'll be able to apply for those implementation grants for safety improvements around town. But then another thing coming down that we've been talking about for a while and was kind of the first reason for the scanning project is the ADA transition plan. So that ADA transition plan can be a component of that larger safety action plan. I think and I hope this safety action plan can also be used as kind of our guide for implementing our sidewalk program. Once we're done with the ash trees, you know, that was part of that planning for increasing the franchise fee to be able to go into that fund to first take care of ash trees, but then continue to trim right-of-way trees and start a sidewalk program. Then the match with the downtown project and the Willis Avenue overlay, we're able to use the cost of extraction for the line work on those two projects towards the match for this grant. So that would be $50,000. Then we're also going to be working on applying for a rural innovation grant through the state, through IDA. And that'll be for 50,000. So really, we're getting all of this planning and extraction for 50,000 that is kind of unaccounted for, but will definitely, I think, open the door to a large pot of money for us in the coming years. So some of the communities that got the implementation funding, a lot of that revolved around sidewalks, safe streets, ADA improvements, things like that, as well as just intersection improvements. So remember last meeting talking about the new developments going on in the industrial park and added traffic at 141 in Willis. This will help us do some planning for that to be able to hopefully apply for some grant funds to make some safety improvements there along with the DOT, as well as 141 and First Street, that intersection and that whole corridor. Let alone some of our intersections and areas in town. I would hope that sidewalk and trail headed north on First Street would be a large component of this safety plan. So there's just a lot of boxes that are checked off with this project. So. Any questions?
I'm gonna excuse myself. I think my mom's having a medical issue.
Any further discussion or questions about this project? If not, call the roll, please.
Berkeley,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Wally,
Yes.
Shot.
Yes.
Thank you. We'll move on to ordinances then next. Ordinance amending the Code of Ordinance, Chapter 65, stop or yield required. With the completion of certain areas within the 2020 downtown street and utility improvements project, it is pertinent to update and install various traffic controls in the form of stops. This ordinance would amend Chapter 65, stop or yield required to include the following stops. Second Street vehicles traveling north shall stop at Bateman Street. Third Street vehicles traveling north shall stop at Bateman Street. Third Street vehicles traveling south shall stop at Bateman Street. Bateman Street vehicles traveling east shall stop at Sixth Street. Bateman Street vehicles traveling west shall stop at Sixth Street, along with a four-way stop at the intersection of Fourth Street and Bateman. This is the first reading. Need a motion, please?
Make a motion to pass the ordinance amending the code of ordinances, chapter 65, stop or yield required.
I'll second.
Discussion?
Talked about this one, huh?
Yep, this has been part of this Bateman Street reconstruction conversation for quite a while, but in conversations with staff, we are requesting for both this ordinance and chapter 69 that we do all three readings so that we can get signage put up as the road is complete.
Yeah, my sister's on site. She's a nurse.
Okay.
Do we need to make a motion to do all three readings right now?
Well, we'll do one and then we'll make a
Yep,
motion.
I think
to
it's
Yeah.
Do-
so I have the-
We'll do one at a time
first reading and then a motion.
and then we'll do each one individually.
No, no, we
It's
we
second
can
and
do- we
third.
can do the first reading and then somebody can make a motion to approve the second, and third readings.
Yeah.
And then you just
Okay.
do all of them together, right,
Right.
Dewey?
Yeah, so first of all, first reading.
Right.
Second, do a motion to suspend the rules and move to the third and final reading. That, and you can do the third.
So three actions.
That's what I said. Okay, any further discussion? If not, call the roll. This, again, this is for the first reading we're approving.
So Wally,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Berkeley,
Yes.
Mahler,
Yes.
Shot.
Yes.
Thank you. Now I will entertain a motion to suspend the rules and do the second reading.
I make a
Third.
motion to suspend the rules and do our second reading and our
Third.
third reading.
Yeah, move to
And the
final.
final reading,
The
okay.
final reading, third reading.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion other than what we've already had? If not, call the roll, please.
Berkeley,
Yes.
Shot,
Yes.
Mahler,
Yes.
Wally,
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
So we've now done 1, 2, and 3 readings, correct?
No, we need a motion for the third reading.
Okay,
I make a motion that we pass a resolution to read the third reading of this ordinance.
I'll second that.
okay. Any discussion?
Wally,
Yes.
Berkeley,
Yes.
Mahler,
Yes.
Shot,
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Now it's been 3 reading. Okay. Next ordinance reading. Amending the Code of Ordinances, Chapter 69, parking regulations with the completion of certain areas in the 2020 downtown street and utility improvements project is pertinent to update and install various traffic controls in the form of no parking zones. This ordinance would amend Chapter 69 parking regulations to include no parking on the north side of Bateman from Third Street to Fourth Street, first reading.
I make a motion that we pass the ordinance amending the code of ordinances, chapter 1, parking regulations, first reading.
I'll second.
Any discussion? If not, call the roll.
Walling,
Yes.
Mahler,
Yes.
Berkman,
Yes,
Schott,
Yes.
Swam.
Yes,
I make a motion, we suspend the rules and do our second reading.
Third and final.
Third reading.
Third reading.
I'll second.
You're just a little off because there's no donuts.
Oh, isn't this the second? We just did the first reading, so we have to do the second one now, don't we?
No,
We have to suspend the rules.
to have a third and final reading.
Oh, okay, gotcha now. Okay. Any discussion? If not, call the roll.
Berkman,
Yes.
Walling,
Yes.
Mahler.
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Swam.
yes,
I make a motion that we do the third reading of this ordinance amending chapter 16.
And I'll second that.
Any discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Walling,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Berkman,
Yes.
Mahler.
Yes.
Swam.
yes.
Okay. Having no further business, we are adjourned at 10:11 a.m. Thank you, everybody. Go out and get your coffee and donut now. Thank you. Have a good weekend coming up here.
You'll get to hang out with one of these days.